Should be live, should have audio and video coming through. So let's go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for September 6th, 2022. Q's down 0.75%. SPY down about 0.5%. We came into this week bearish, right? We've been talking about what we would need to see in order for us to not be bearish, really, because even at this point, we don't really have much indication of any kind of bullishness on any time frame. So, while we are coming into some support, the manner in which we're doing it, which is grinding and basing and grinding, doesn't really lend itself to too much of a bounce, and the ones that we have got have produced lower highs and really maintained the trend. So gonna be bearish going into tomorrow. We didn't really get anything today to really change the picture here, and like we were saying last week, we'll just be watching the hourly. If the hourly gives us some kind of rally, tries to come back in, produces a higher low, and then able to take out a pivot and end the hourly downtrend, okay, then we can start talking about some kind of trend change, right? Because first the hourly would have to do it, then it would be the daily, then the weekly would follow, okay? So we'll keep our eyes on the hourly here for our market bias, and as long as we stay in this hourly downtrend, we'll remain bearish, all right? So getting into today's plays here, first the ST&E, first play here for me out of the gate here. We had a gap down, but the gap down initially gapping to some support, but then we broke through it. So I like that. There's some more support there to the left, but anticipating maybe move to 780, 790. So with the size of the stop, not too bad risk to reward there. Went with a pretty decent low of the day base this morning. And I really like the play overall. I like the play quite a bit. Basing at the lows, breaking underneath the lows, and just didn't follow through. So market stayed weak. This actually got the bounce even though the market was coming in, and eventually took out the top of the base. So first play out of the gate there on the ST&E didn't work. Didn't give us much follow through either. Did stay weak as you can see here, but yeah, definitely looking for more. Next play here was the RGTI. RGTI, very similar setup here on the RGTI. We got another very weak item. Love the daily on this. Daily is actually better than on this than ST&I. Look at that. Now at all-time lows here, and giving us a nice 2-minute base there at the lows and then rolling over. So sell setup this time on the RGTI. We'll show it to you on the 5 here, a little bit cleaner. There it is, right off that declining 20 MA. This was really hard to get filled on, unfortunately, on the RGTI, so wasn't able to get much. And so, yeah, definitely a disappointment because this was great. Just closed it here before coming on the mic. What little I had, which just wasn't really much. So that was really the only issue with this, was that couldn't get filled. So really nice setup, really nice daily. Looks lower on every time frame. That's what we want, right? So RGTI in the morning, I was saying I'm trying to get this, and then I was lowering my entry and saying I'm still trying to get it. I think initially I was trying to get it at 89, and then I was trying to get it at 88. Finally got some at like 87 and 86, and then when it dropped through, I said, okay, fine, I'm not gonna try and get any more. But I think it was hard to get filled for everyone because it didn't seem like many other people were able to participate in this play, even though I was, saying I was getting in it on the mic. But that was pretty nice. Something else though to keep in mind. I know we're bearish and we're staying bearish here, but it does seem like one of these crops up most days. something like this SPRO, which wasn't really on our radar until later on here. Pretty nice breakout in that hour before lunch here. Breakout right there. And that ended up really taking off. These, you know, kind of one-day wonders, just kind of out of nowhere, decide to make a huge rally. They weren't gapping necessarily, so a lot of times they don't even have news going on them, and then they just have one of these days. We saw one last week at the beginning of the week as well on the RVPH, and really got going at the same time here. So here it is on the RVPH. Similar kind of basing towards the high, and then again in that hour before lunch start to take off. So yeah, make sure, you know, when you're scanning, just during that time of the day, you never know when some of these kind of small movers show up and might have a setup already in place there. That was the challenge with this one. I think the only thing about this one that was tough was that we weren't watching it. I found it and was already at I said I was like, it was about 10 minutes late, so it had already broken $1. Yeah, it was about like 1:15. And so I was just a little bit late on this. Actually, the reason I was late is because I was trying to get filled in the RGTI. So this one, if we just found a little bit later, would have been a really nice play. Did set up as a climactic short as well, but these are often difficult as climactics. This one actually worked out pretty well though. So yeah, I just wanted to bring your attention to that because that hour before lunch seems like when some of these sleepers just come alive. All right, and we saw quite a bit of that. So, you know, it's an interesting environment. A lot of weak items, a lot of IQ coming in here, a lot of you know, things that are scalpable, especially to the downside, and then things that just completely ignore the market and have big moves like this. Just a lot of times they're going to be your biotech names. So that's kind of the environment that we're in. Most things setting up pretty well to the downside, following through pretty well to the downside, and then your pockets of just really big climactic moves to the upside. Okay, so that's kind of what I expect we'll have. You know, we're out of earnings season, so it's less about kind of the gaps these days and the earnings reports, and a lot of these kind of just plays with the market, scalp opportunities with very high reward to risk, low small stops, and then some of these just movers that kind of show up out of nowhere. Okay, I mean, it's unreasonable to expect, you know, catch it at the open, but I mean, this definitely kind of set up that breakout. That's easy to spot. All right, we'll be back at it tomorrow. Hope you had a good start to the week, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good rest of the day.